Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A, so let's do it. How to optimize wendler 531 for naturals. Let's not use that word optimize. Let's say, how do we make sure we get the best protein synthesis? Because here's a joke, I'm not going to name his name. He's a big insider in the industry. He was joking with me, and in Skype he told me, yeah, everyone is anti-bro split unless it's wendler. Wendler, the way it is basically written, is a bro split. You have an overhead press day, an overhead press accessory, a bench day, bench press accessory, squat day, back day. It's basically 2 different push days. One of them's a chest day, one's a shoulder day, a pull day, and a legs day. So how do you optimize it? With the way you do your accessories. So how do you make it better for total muscle protein synthesis uptime for someone not using a shitload of drugs? Very simple. You turn it into essentially an upper-lower. I would recommend that you do all the deadlift accessory work on the squat day, all the squat accessory work on the deadlift day, same with the bench and the overhead press. So that essentially you get 2 full pressing days to where you are working your delts, your triceps, your chest, and everything 2 different days a week. Same with the other stuff. You're getting all your back work and all your leg work, including quads, hamstrings, glutes, everything, 2 different days a week. And if need be, you can even overlap those accessories further. If you feel like you need to do some chin-ups or whatever on some of those pressing days, it will give you more back and bicep frequency, go ahead and do so. If you want to do some glute ham raises on those pressing days to get more hamstring, feel free to do so. By customizing your accessory work, you can induce additional hypertrophy through muscle protein synthesis uptime, and how you select your accessory works on wendler. That's your real ticket there. Because the base system works. I mean, it's a good progressive overload system on the four big basic lifts. So the base template is fine as long as you're programming the accessories to get what you need. That's really the key to it. And even those accessories can sometimes be extra squatting, bench pressing, and deadlifting. So keep that in mind. The accessory work isn't necessarily, especially if you look at like the big but boring template and you switch those around, you just end up deadlifting on the squat days more and overhead pressing on the bench days, etc. And you get what you need out of it that way. All right, next question. Would it be harmful or beneficial to do both back squats and front squats on the same day? It's fine. Lots of powerlifters do this. Lots of strength athletes do this. A lot of guys do front squats as an accessory to their squats. So they'll front squat after they squat. In fact, I've done this myself. It's perfectly fine. It's beneficial if you need the front squat as an accessory. And you have to remember, a front squat, a lot of people want to say, oh, the front squat is an amazing quad exercise. No, it is. It's good, but it's not even the best squat for it. A high bar squat done correctly, particularly with a pause at the bottom, is going to be an insane quad builder purely because it allows you to put more load on the quads. When you're doing a front squat, you have to reduce the weight slightly. The legs are moving a lighter weight. It requires more core stability and more thoracic strength. So it's a better thoracic erector builder. It's better for certain other parts of the backs and better for your core than the traditional back squat is, or particularly like a high bar squat. So that's where the front squat comes in. You got to remember that. You're not doing the front squat for extra leg work. If you want extra quad development, do more high bar squats. Real simple. All right, next question. Is it possible to reverse some of the loss in libido during a cut by supplementing with non-illegal supplements? Well, you got to keep in mind legal is relative. I have an international audience. I don't live in America. Testosterone is legal to possess and use where I live, like straight up injectable testosterone. So the answer to that question might be, yeah, it depends on where you live. But as far as these over-the-counter products you're thinking of in America, most of these, the data even showing that they boost testosterone is questionable. It isn't conclusive. And even if they do boost testosterone, it doesn't mean that they're boosting your total hormones in the balance that you want, because things like estrogen can actually negatively affect your libido if it's too high or too low. So you run into problems with just because testosterone goes up doesn't automatically mean that your hormone levels are balanced for your libido. And remember, libido is also, there's an energy component, there is a psychological component. So if you're run down from your training on your cutting, it doesn't matter if your hormone levels, your testosterone levels are good, you still might lose your sex drive just from other hormones and just total stress and fatigue driving it down, and just putting extra stress on your body that will lower it through other pathways. So there's your problem, and that's the problem you run into with things like contest prep. And that's one reason I tell you guys, if you're going to be drug-free, don't cut super lean. 10% is good. In fact, if you're not going to compete in anything and you're just doing it because you want to get girls, and there's no need to go under 10%, 10% body fat, you'll probably have the best body at the beach. You take your shirt off at the club, if you got a good amount of muscle mass, 10% body fat, you very well might have the best body in the club. So if you're doing it to get girls, don't cut lower than that, because if your dick doesn't work, you just wasted your time. So quit worrying about these over-the-counter products to help, unless you're convinced in your head they're going to help, in which case you'll get a placebo effect and you might get a hard-on and a good sex drive just because you believe you're going to, even though the product doesn't work. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 4.